Dang, and I have a really cute tan right now.
Nah, you look good. You look good.
Thank
You
you.
look
Thank
good.
you.
How
Thank
you
you.
been?
Okay. Good. Okay, perfect. Like I think that works, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Which hey, did you ever get to go to Nelly?
No, I didn't. I didn't because you know how I texted you spontaneously I needed to reschedule with
Mm-hmm.
you? It's because I ended up going on another adventure. So I didn't come
What
back till
adventure did you go
Saturday.
on?
Huh?
What adventure did you go on?
Okay, so literally on Sunday, my friend was like, or she posted something on her Instagram, you know, the little bubbles, the note section.
Mm-hmm.
And so she put driving somewhere and she does it going with the wind. And so I told her, I was like, I like being passenger princess. And so she said, hey, come with me. And I said, okay. So we left Monday.
Where did
So
y'all go?
from we ended up, well, we literally had no plan on where we were gonna go. We just drove. We drove west, so we hit New Mexico, and then we ended up at Antelope Canyon. So have you ever been there? Have you heard of that?
I have heard of that.
Yeah,
I
we
never
ended up
been
there,
there.
Lake Powell. It was crazy because she was driving, and so we were almost there. And mind you, we got there like at 1 in the morning, no plan or anything. So we ended up sleeping in the car and let like a R you know how you have the RV trailers and stuff? So
Yeah.
we ended up just crashing and parking in one of the empty spaces there and we fell asleep there. Um it was wild, yeah. And so we slept there and we woke up early. I quickly came up with a plan. I looked and so Lake Powell is right by there. So it's a beautiful lake, beautiful lake. Um and she had her dog. So we couldn't regularly go through the regular Antelope Canyon because there's like an upper lower. Looked up the restrictions, no dogs allowed at all. I think it's just because it's a very well carved out like hiking place. And so what we ended up doing is I found like what can you do with the dog? And so I found this page called like Ellie the Golden Retriever or something. Anyway, so the dog parents or whatever, they ended up putting out that there was a different way to do it. So that's where Lake Powell comes into it. Uh, we rented a kayak, and through Lake Powell, you can get to Antelope Canyon through like a back way. And we paddled, I kid you not, for 4 hours there. 4 hours. I had blister. Still have like a little
Wait,
scar.
you paddled for 4 hours from on a lake?
Yeah, yeah.
Water?
Yeah, 4 hours there. And then once we got there, we it was kind of like this really narrow place, but you could see a whole bunch of other kayaks there too. So we were like, okay, we're in the right spot. And so then we hiked for I would say about an hour there and back. So the hike itself wasn't that long because we were just in a different part of the canyon, but you got to see everything is basically like red dirt. Red dirt, red sculptures, like kind of like clay model looking things, but it was beautiful. It was nicely carved and it was pretty, but it got repetitive. So we were like, okay, now we can turn around. And she ran out of water and then she had her dog with her too. So, dehydration is a really big thing. It got crazy hot over there. I think it was like 112 degrees at one point there. Because trust me, on our voyage, it got hotter. Um, and then after, what was insane is we hiked there and then we still had to go back. We had to kayak back. So we kayaked another 4 hours back to the car. So a total of 8 hours kayaking. Our arms hurt. We were so tired, but it was such a great experience. We got a little tan going too.
I see.
Yeah, the dog. I was just impressed with the dog because the dog is sitting there. The kayak is a single kayak, and so she had the dog with her. The dog fell a couple of
Was y'all
times.
paddling at night?
Huh?
Was y'all paddling at night?
No, it was in the daytime. Yeah. So the plan was so we slept at that little RV sketchy park at about 2. We woke up pretty early around 7 just so we could head out and because the place didn't open till 8, the kayak rental place. Yeah, so we ended up going there and so that was one of our stops and then she had never been to the Grand Canyon. So then we drove to the Grand Canyon. We got to the Grand Canyon. We hiked there. We ended up south rim of the Grand Canyon. Have you been to the Grand Canyon?
I have.
Yeah, yeah. Which part of it?
I can't tell you.
No.
It's
Yeah,
so
well,
big.
huh?
It's so big. Like,
Yeah, it's huge. It's really huge. It's
it
wild.
can't even be put into words. You just got to go experience for yourself. So all this, what you just told me, was a spontaneous trip like that.
Yeah, and then we were like, where should we go next? So Grand Canyon, and then I was like, well, she wanted to go to San Diego, so that was a pinpoint we had to go to. Mind you, we're driving, just two girls, one dog.
Wait, when spontaneous trips start?
Sunday. Well, no, Sunday it was decided. Monday we left. She picked up the rental and we left. We just drove.
So
And so
you went to my city, San Diego.
you're from San Diego?
Nah, but I love it. I used to live there.
I love
For,
San Diego.
I used to live there for a long time.
Yeah, I love it. And honestly, getting there, I was like, I've been there once before for a conference for work, but literally, I love it. Just everyone's so chill, everything's so laid back.
Mhm.
It has this like little hood areas too, but that's everywhere. I'm from Houston, and so you have the little hood part, but then you have the gentrified part. I saw my first prostitute there too.
You saw your first prostitute there?
Yeah, my first prostitute. It was like 2 p.m. Yeah, it was crazy, but it was such a good time in San Diego. After Grand Canyon, we hit up Joshua National Park, and then we were like, "Hey, you know what? Okay, let's hit it." And so we went to San Diego. We had a lot of traffic, but it was hot from Joshua National Park. Once we hit California to San Diego, it was hot. It got to 120 degrees. And then
And
we just
so
explored San Diego.
y'all did this whole trip just off of one day of planning.
Hmm And so what I packed was one bathing suit, a pair of hiking boots, just random things. I had no idea. And we ended up hitting like or we hit one store just because we wanted to go out in San Diego. We ended up going to Gaslamp Quarter,
Yeah,
is that what
what?
it's called? It was so much
Hmm.
fun. We met a whole bunch of different people there. I had never gone to after hours either, and I hit up after hours over there. Wild. It was so much fun. So, so much fun. I befriended the DJ and he let me hit the little DJ booth in the back. He took a video of me and I was
Hey,
like,
did you go to El Chingon?
huh?
Did you go to El Chingon?
How does that? I think so. I
It's
think so.
it's an Hispanic joint. It's like, it's called El Chingon. It got a skull. It's in a gas lamp.
I think so. I think so. I think so. We were walking and then this one guy's like, hey, free shot, free drink if y'all come with me. I think so because it has a sign that says badass with like an arrow. Or is that a
I'm
different
not
one?
sure. I'm not
There's two
sure.
Hispanic places we went to, and the first one and the last one, there was one that had like these go-go dancers. I don't know if that was El Chingon or the first one, but the first one it had like some skulls there too, like Hispanic skulls, like loteria cards on the walls type thing. I don't know if you know what that is.
Maybe, San Diego is one of my favorite places in America, period. So
Have you surfed before? No, no. Well, I feel like you have to in San Diego. Just there's so much beach water. It was
they got a bunch
beautiful.
of sharks and stuff out there.
What?
They got a bunch of sharks out there.
No way. Well, you
And
know what?
killer whales.
Well, and I wanted to see what were they, the seals at La Jolla?
La Jolla.
Yeah, but we went and there was nothing.
They be out. It just all depends on where you go. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So
yeah.
like you had a blast, yo. Like
Yeah, it
that's
was
fun.
such a good time, but I miss Nelly. I miss Nelly. And who knows if he performed or not? Do you know if he got to sing or something? Dang.
Sexy Red was there the night before.
He what?
Sexy Red was there the night before.
Where was I the night before?
The night before Nelly, it was Sexy Red.
Oh no, I saw that. I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. Yeah. No, I missed out. I
Yeah.
mean, I got to back to Austin around basically Saturday. But then I had to do a whole bunch of things that I didn't hit up Nelly. But man, it would have been so cool too. It would have been so cool. But you didn't get to see Nelly either?
That's a whole nother story I gotta tell you about offline.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yo, tell the people about your travel adventures. I didn't get a chance to properly introduce you, but I mean, when you talking to two travelers, I mean, there's no need to. Like I'm trying to learn about your adventures and where you've been. So I know you've been to Peru. I
I've been
know
to
you've done.
Peru, Colombia, yes.
I know you've done all the interior locations of Mexico, the
Mexico.
places
Oh,
where a lot of tourists really don't go.
mhm. It's just I
Turks
know
and
I'm
Caicos.
Mexican. I'm Mexican. There's still so much more to explore in Mexico, though. There's just so much more. But yeah, Turks and Caicos, the Virgin Islands. I went to Aruba in March. I need to hit up Europe. I'm actually going to Spain in October. October, I think. Yeah, so gonna try to hit up different continents now. I've hit up some of South America. There's still so much to see. North America, you could do that weekend trips, but I need to hit up like Europe. I was supposed to go to Africa in are we still in July? Yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to go a couple of weeks ago, but that kind of changed, but it's okay because I got to do another adventure instead.
Where all have you been by yourself?
Mexico. That's actually the only place I've hit up by myself as of recently because I think I would say about a year ago, my life took a little bit of a 180. Life happened, life changes, and so I decided, I have a really great village. A lot of people who support me, friends, family. My mom's always the first one. You know what? Just live, Jennifer. And so I decided, I don't, in a good way, but also I guess kind of sad. I was like, I don't feel like I want to bother people. I don't want to bother my friends, even though I know it's not a bother or anything. And I decided, you know what? I can do anything that I want to do, and I don't have to do it with one of my friends or someone. So that's when I decided, like light bulb, like let me just do it. And it kind of just started by I've gone out to eat by myself, but like not purposely. I get up, I get dressed, I get really cute, like I'm going on a date, but it's by myself. I went to the movies alone. And then that one was really great because one time I went to the movies to see Sounds of Freedom. Have you watched that movie?
Mm-mm.
That was the first movie I watched officially by myself. I bought some Panda Express, threw it in my purse. Nobody was in the movie theater. It was just me, and it was amazing. And then I decided, you know what? Let me just do a whole bunch of other things. I've gone skydiving before, but I just
I
jumped in
saw
the
that.
car. I jumped in the car the second time. I was like, I'm gonna go skydiving, and I went by myself. I told my mom after. Shout out to my friend Lena because she's always my emergency contact just in case. So she was only one that knew that I was gonna go do that. And then after that, I was like, well, I'm just gonna do all of the travels that I want to do by myself. So I would say the first big adventure was actually this past summer in June that I went hiking alone, but it wasn't just like your average hiking. So I drove west. I drove to Carlsbad Caverns National Park. I
Hmm.
explored that. It was like just caverns, but it was nice to go by myself. And then I didn't really have a plan on where to stay. I was like, well, I'm gonna stay like at a little hotel by myself, which is fine. But then the goal for me was to hit up Guadalupe Park. I think it was Guadalupe, not a national park, but it was a
I know
park.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it has the highest peak in Texas, and so I
Hmm.
decided I wanted to do that, and I wanted to see the sunrise. Those were the only two things I knew I wanted to do. So I drove there after the caverns, and it was getting kind of late. It was like about six, I would say, six, seven. I was like, let me go find something to eat and I'll just sleep in my car. And so I picked up some food, I ate, and then it was like 8 by the time I got to the actual park area. But I ended up staying in the car, that was my first time sleeping alone in the car. So I was already kind of sketched out. But also, I was like, you know what? If it's my time, it's my time. But I slept around people that have like their little trailer parks. I saw this little family. That's where I decided to stay close to them. They were having like a little picnic, and I was like, well, I feel kind of safe. So I slept there. And then at 3 in the morning, I woke up because I wanted to see sunrise. I read a whole bunch of reviews about it being a really hard hike and XYZ. And so 3 in the morning, little old Jennifer just backpack, had a little taser, a couple of other weapons of choice, and a flashlight. And so I go up, and it really wasn't that bad of a hike. It said it would take about 8 hours round trip. But it actually only took me 2 hours to get up. And so I was chilling there. It was really dark. I saw a sign that said beware of mountain lions. I was like, wait a minute, mountain lions. What am I gonna do? I'm like 130 pounds. What am I gonna do against a mountain lion? I know nothing about mountain lions. But no, I was fortunate. Didn't run into anything. It was a really safe adventure. Just pitch black, dark, just the stars, the moon, and Jennifer. Finally, I reached the top, which was really empowering, actually. It has like a little pyramid at the top, and that's how I knew I got to the top. And then I just chilled there and watched the sunrise, and it was the best thing of my life. Just being there, nobody, sun, and me. Quiet, still. I did a lot of reflections up there. It was really peaceful. And then I went down. And then after that, I was like, well, I can do other things by myself too. So my family was going to Mexico, and I decided to go early. And so that's where I went to Oaxaca, Mexico. That was my first official solo adventure. I went to, I think it was called, oh my gosh, excuse my, with my Mexican peeps, the Alban Point or something like that in Oaxaca. And it essentially it's just like a lot of rich culture in Mexico, some pyramids, some like staircase of stone
I
art.
started.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
so I explored all of that by myself. Explored
You
the
got a
downtown.
tripod? Because
Did I?
you have a tripod?
No, no.
You
So
just
what
ask
I
random people to take the pictures?
pictures of me, yeah. So I'm like, hey, can you take a
Mm,
picture? Yeah. Or what I
yeah.
do is I'll set it up. I'll always have my water bottle with me. I'll prop my water bottle and then I'll just record. I have some recordings of myself. I'm like, and I just do the goofiest things. Or if I really some views are really nice. I'm like, hey, can you take a picture of me? And that's how you get to know people too. I was in the downtown of Oaxaca, and the guy I just so happened to give my phone to, he was like a photographer for the city. And so there was a little music festival, and he had his own camera there with him, and he was taking pictures of like these artists that were going up there. And anyway, just the part of solo adventuring for me is that's my favorite part, getting to know different people too. I mean, shoot, that's how I randomly met you. I wasn't alone, but it's just talking to people, getting to know their history. Who knew? Like, you said podcast. I was like, whoa, you do podcasts? That's so cool. And you just get to learn about their backgrounds, and you just never expect when you see someone face to face or in passing. Um, that's how you learn from culture, history, people.
Yeah, I wish we could have met on some better circumstances, but fuck it. I mean, here, you know. Like,
Hey, that was an adventure in itself. That was a wild setting. I
yo,
was like,
that was a wild night, which I gotta tell you offline.
oh, does that correlate to Nelly?
Mhm.
Mm, hey, that was a
Yeah.
wild.
Tell me about that. I mean, so here's the thing, like, you don't have to be going across the pond to be a solo traveler.
Mm-mm.
Just you taking road trips and you know doing things by yourself, getting enough, that alone is solo traveling. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
um, you've been on the road way more than I have. Well, I've done some road trips solo. I've done some road trips solo, but I haven't like really just went on a road trip in Texas. You know, even though I'm from Texas, I lived in Wichita Falls. I've lived in Tyler, Texas. I'm in this area. We both from the Houston area. Um, I've lived in Salt Lake City. I lived in San Diego. I've explored the Ozarks, all up and down the East Coast. So
East
like,
Coast.
when it comes to traveling, I just think a solo traveler is someone who leaves their world behind and go and explore another one by themselves. And just by hearing you talk, you down to sleep in your car, you down to be spontaneous, low
Hey, you know
maintenance.
what? You know what I did? I slept on the
What?
roof of a car too. Stargazing on the roof of it. Blanket. I woke up around 3 a.m. because I heard howling. I was just like, oh, I was like, I need to get back in the car. But yeah, I've even slept
Where
on the
was
roof.
you at?
Joshua National Park. Joshua National Park.
In
California.
California?
Mm-hmm.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah. It was
Gotcha.
It was my first time stargazing. No, but you're right. You're totally right. It doesn't have to just be these extravagant, as you just go in and go on something new, something out of your world, and that's solo traveling. I think it's important to be mindful of a couple of things too, especially being like a young female. Not that it's any different with the men, but we're still a little bit more vulnerable. We're a vulnerable population. Being mindful of times you're out. Like I wouldn't go and get lit at my 100% potential by myself, because I need to be aware, focus on my setting surroundings, what times I should be out, when I should, if you just feel an energy that, maybe I shouldn't be doing this right now, and maybe I should go this way instead of that way. Maybe I should sleep here and not there. Being prepared too. I fight. I Muay Thai fight. So I feel a lot more comfortable also.
Multi-fight.
I do Muay Thai. Yeah, I
Yo,
do.
this is a great episode for anyone. I'm not even gonna lie. You seem very well rounded.
Thank
I
you.
know a lot of multi-fighters. I've been to Thailand and places like that, but dang, yo, and you dropping some game, yo. This like everything you saying is what I stress to women. Like you can go solo travel, but you have to be like smart, you
Smart,
know,
smart about it. Yeah,
vigilant
yeah,
and
yeah.
prepared. And then when you
Prepared. Mhm. Not just two things also on a fly, which is good. It's good, but also have a plan on where you're. When I'm by myself, I do have a plan. I do have like ABC and plan B if something goes wrong. Unfortunately, that's the society we live in today, and it's just important. I have my location shared. I tell when I did that 3 a.m. hike, I did a check in with my friends. They were sleeping. It was 4 a.m., 5 a.m., but I was still checking in just so they knew. Sometimes, if shoot, even something as small as going for a run by myself, sometimes I'll send a selfie of what I'm wearing too. You just, worst case scenarios sometimes. And again, unfortunately, it's like that. And I don't live my life paranoid. You just got to think one step ahead as a
yo, who
woman.
taught you all this?
You know what? My dad, my mom put a little paranoia in me, but my dad was always like, in Spanish, he says trucha. Trucha, if you translate it, it's a fish. But in Spanish, it's like, you know what? Go for it. Like, you got this. You do this. Very encouraging. My parents have been like 100% my supporters on all of my crazy in general. And they always pushed me and said not to be afraid of anything and do it by yourself, live. And my dad also used to box too, so he's very like,
Your
you
pops
know,
used to box.
yeah, in Mexico. Yeah, he used to. Yeah.
Yo, everybody that's watching this already know how. Yeah, like we're gonna chop it up after this.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
nah, so do you like boxing?
Yeah, so I recently shout out to my friend Jaime. He's a boxing coach at the gym I train for Muay Thai. He has been really, really helpful, really patient, breaking skills down. So I'm recently diving in. I would say I prefer striking over like jujitsu and all of that. I will eventually tap into that world, but right now I focus on striking, and boxing is recent as of, I would say, this summer. I haven't done too many classes, but it's good to work on your hand versus like Muay Thai. You do a lot of kicking too, striking with your elbows, knees, and things like that. But boxing, I really want to work on my hand-eye coordination, different techniques. But yeah, you don't expect it. Like I come off like what? I don't really tell a lot of people either that I train. Just sometimes my friends know, and I'll randomly post something. But yeah, yeah, it's like a secret hidden weapon.
As it should be, but we in the same city. Eventually, one day we might end up getting some mitt work in. I know how to hold the mitts.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, good, good,
yeah,
good, good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And then,
And we can share that with the channel.
oh,
Um,
that'd be cool.
it would be. So talk to us about Peru, because you would be the first person that I've spoken to that has been to Peru. I
Oh,
don't think I
okay.
know anybody that has really been out there. So what influenced you to do that and go there?
Um, Funny, actually, at the time, I was dating someone, and he was from Peru, born and raised over there. And so, not to get like into that, but anyway, I needed to see one of the wonders of the world, and in Peru, that's one of the wonders of the world, Machu Picchu.
Hmm.
Man, it is beautiful. It is something that you just pictures do not do justice. First of all, love Peru. The time I ended up going, I think it was the end of June, when I went. And that's important to note because there's a festival. They celebrate the Incas and a big celebration for the sun god. And in that culture, man, they had all of these festivals lined up that whole week, performers, essentially just celebrating the sun god, the sun goddesses, the Incas, all of them. They have festivals, foods, dancing. I got to actually meet the mayor of, I guess the mayor of Peru. I don't know. And he's sitting there, and all of these people are lined up. I'm telling you, the whole city, like even churches, you could see people. I don't know how they climbed up there, but they were on top of buildings just watching all the festivals perform, going down. But to get to Machu Picchu, it's not as easy as you think. You think, how it is here in the States or any other country, you just kind of pull up to it. You could take a car or anything. No, it's a process. So from Lima, we had to fly to Cusco. So Cusco, have you ever seen the Emperor's New Groove? Have you
Hmm.
heard of that? Yeah, so it's literally, I didn't even like it all connected once I was there. I was like, Cusco, Cusco. Oh, this is Peru. This is all, it all makes sense. So Cusco, you fly into Cusco, and then from there, you do need some sort of like tour agency. It just makes things easier. But from that agency, I think it was like 2, 3 in the morning. We got up super early to go on this bus with a whole bunch of random people. And around this time of the day or night, I guess you could say early crack of dawn, whatever, it's freezing, but it's June and it's hot. When the sun hits you, you're burning. But it was freezing at this time. So we're all huddled up in this really sketchy little bus. And then that bus takes you to a train. So that train, we got there at like 4 a.m. And then that train takes you all the way to Machu Picchu. So, well, it's called Aguas Calientes. And then you get there, and it's a small little town. And then from that town, you can choose to hike up to Machu Picchu, or you could take like the transportation. They have like these shuttles, so we took the shuttle. Uh, and then you get to the Machu Picchu, and then you just walk all of it and history. And my friend actually just went to Machu Picchu, but it was so cool for her. She did the Inca Trail, so that's another option of doing it. A whole week of hiking. She said very humbling experience, like to the point where you have to like use the restroom, and then you have to pick up your waste and carry it with you because they don't want it on the sacred land. So she had to carry her waste the whole week. I know, I know. So I mean, you could do it the way I did it, or you could do the Inca Trail. But power to her. And you get there, and it's literally, you see the pictures, you Google it, it looks like that, but more. It depends on, I would really recommend really researching when you go because of the weather. It's really high altitude, so clouds could really cover all of the setting and it would be kind of pointless. You don't really get to experience it, but fortunately when I went, you could everything clear as day.
How
And
big
then,
is the mountains?
oh, I couldn't even tell you. It's big. It's big. And there's
Like
llamas too
you've seen mountains,
everywhere.
but you've been to California and places like that,
Colorado, Machu
Colorado.
Picchu,
So
Machu.
these mountains.
Yeah, no, they're high, and I don't know. Maybe you can Google it or something and put it up here or somewhere, for the podcast to know. But it's high altitudes, very high altitudes. I wouldn't say it's for the weak either. Some oxygen tanks, there's emergency services also. That's why I think they had to make like a man-made trail almost, so in case people faint. Even when I was in Cusco, actually, there was a man who died there too. It was my first body I got to see. Don't wish that on anybody. Just it was a terrible experience because of the altitudes, oxygen, and all of that. Peru in general.
Do you think Peru is a place where someone like a female traveler could go by herself?
Yeah, absolutely. I would, it's safe. Again, knowing your surroundings and everything. But I was out there like at 3 a.m. and it was fine. Again, being mindful of your surroundings and everything, and especially when you did all of those public transportation connections. It is really early in the morning because you want to get to or to Machu Picchu at a reasonable time. But I would 100,000% say Peru is something for a female traveler to go solo. There's You don't stand out because there's so many tourists. There's a lot of backpackers there, a lot of people staying in hostels. Oh, and it's super cheap too. It's really inexpensive once you get there. The flights might be a little bit pricier, but if you get it at a good time and within much advance, you could get a pretty good rate too. Yeah. Again, I saw many people from different parts of the world, like Asia. A lot of Europeans were there too. Yeah.
That's that's pretty much a lot. Like when you say is the flights are expensive, but when you get there, it's affordable.
Yeah.
It's like that with a lot of places that you go to. Um, what about Mexico? Because the places that you've been to in Mexico is not the same places that majority of the American population go. You know what I'm saying? Like Cabo and Playa del Carmen and Cozumel and Tulum. Tulum is a big one. During the pandemic, I felt like they had a deal going on or something because everybody was out
Everybody
there.
was in Tulum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You be in like the deep part of Mexico, and you've done those by yourself.
Yeah.
You
I
speak
like to call
Spanish?
it humble Mexico. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think it's mindful of, and again, it's everywhere, but I would do a little bit of research. I think Mexico sometimes gets a bad rap, but again, I personally wouldn't go to like the border towns by myself, but like
Right.
Oaxaca,
That's a fact.
yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't go to the border
I've
towns.
been to Tijuana. I've done Tijuana because I was living in San Diego.
Yeah, yeah. So
I
it's
got
right
some
there.
stories. Yeah, I have to share them stories later. But yeah, I've done Tijuana.
Yeah,
You know
and
Spanish?
I'm sorry?
You know Spanish?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes a difference, I believe.
Yeah, definitely knowing Spanish, but even over there, they already know I'm not from there. So that's where you have to be careful too. Sometimes they rack up certain prices too. I would say that's like anywhere though. Anywhere I've traveled, even South America too. If they know you're not from there, they increase some prices but you just have to lay down the law and be like, "Hey, why are you charging me more?" Or call them out for it, and then they'll quickly be humbled. Yeah, no, in Mexico, even when I go over there, I know Spanish. I would say a good 93% really, I'm fluent. I speak with my parents Spanish, but I do butcher, I do stutter a little bit in Spanish. But they call me out. They're like, "Oh, you're not from here." I got that in Oaxaca when I was talking to random people, and they were like, "You're not actually from here," especially when I'm like, "Wait, what is that?" But really, I would say going to the humble parts of Mexico, like again, I was saying the border town and stuff, that those are kind of a little bit more sketchier. But once you're inside, I think it's fine. I think it's just again knowing the time you get there. If there's an airport, I think that's a safe bet. If it's like a little what we call ranchos, like the little country part of Mexico's that there's not a airport that you have to travel to, I would say be a little bit more cautious. But if there's an airport nearby, you go. There's Monterrey, there's Mexico City.
Monterrey,
Love
Mexico
Mexico
City.
City. Huh?
I heard a lot of people talk about Mexico City, and they love it.
Mexico City. I recommend Mexico City. I was there by myself too. Love Mexico City so much. I tried crickets there for the first time. They're really big on mezcal, crickets, mole. Have you tried mole?
I know about mole.
Yeah, mole. Yeah. Ooh, they have so many varieties, but I'm a mezcal girly. I love mezcal, and I every night I was like, all right, let me try a new drink, a new drink. Oh, mezcal over there is so smooth, so good. Um, oh, I'm confusing it with Oaxaca. No, but Mexico City crickets also all of that Mexico City So much culture. It I wouldn't call it like the heart of Mexico, but it's right kind of in the center. And they
Yeah.
have so much they have each part of Mexico has its own region and its own culture. And so going to Mexico City, I got to see in the past when I've gone, it wasn't my first trip. The Piramidas de Tetualacan. Recommend that. So I've been to the Mexico Wonder of the World. It's called Chichen Itzan. So that's one of the pyramids over there. But the
Pyramids.
pyramids in Mexico City, pyramids of Tetualacan. Again, there's my 93% of Spanish speaking.
Is
Uh,
that Aztec?
I'm not the
I
best
mean,
Mexican.
that's what I thought, you know.
No, yeah, I need to do better. Learning the history. When you travel, that's how you learn. Um, those pyramids, though, those, in my opinion, were beautiful. And they have a whole bunch of different things where you can actually hot air balloon there. They have a whole bunch of excursions just to see the pyramids alone. Recommend going to Mexico City, going to those pyramids. They also have these underground restaurants too with performers, and that hot air balloon experience. I haven't gotten to do it, but my friend that I was telling you about, she's gone on that hot air balloon. Beautiful, beautiful. I have a few friends that have done it. And then there's the Basilica de Guadalupe. Very spiritual. I got to go there by myself, and it just dives into like a faith, Catholic faith, and the Virgin of Guadalupe. That's where apparently she appeared, or there's some history there too. But I got to walk around there, and you could see people really, really practicing their faith. I saw, my mom said there's I think it's in December when it's the Virgin's birthday, and people will kneel and go all the way, like start from one point of the city and kneel all the way till they get to the Basilica. And I got to witness it too. From the entrance, this man just on his knees going all the way to the church. And it's just really spiritual and beautiful how much faith people have.
When you travel to places like that, you do get to see people that's really devout in their spiritual walk. I've
Yeah,
been to you definitely see it when you go anywhere in the Middle East. Um, you're gonna see that for sure.
yeah,
Mexico, you're gonna see a lot of Catholics, devout Catholics, practicing, you know. And you know what is unfortunate, you don't really get to see that a lot in America.
mm-mm.
And
I
America's
think,
supposed to be a nation, but you don't see that in America. But you go to other places, you'll see like even like you go to Thailand, like people don't play by Buddha.
Buddhism.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I didn't like. Of course, like we all familiar with that religion, but when you go there, you got people that are very devout when it comes to what they believe in, and I think that's another cool part about traveling. You're by yourself when you got to experience all this.
Yeah, yeah, and just reflecting and thinking about how I think it's important also to, whenever you get to a spot, new culture, just soak in. You know, you might not necessarily have the same beliefs, but respecting it, respecting their
Respecting
cultures,
it.
respecting their beliefs, respecting their land, their territory.
Um, how is traveling solo changed you? Because it changed. I feel like most majority of people I talk to, it does change them. Maybe not right away, but when you get back off that trip, eventually everything starts to sink in. You
You're
know,
like on a high, and then it's like, ooh, reality. But there is a positive change to it. You feel empowering. You feel like it's not something that I can necessarily explain, but I feel like if I can do this by myself, I can do anything by myself. I
yeah.
The world is my oyster, and at this point I feel like, yeah, we're not freaking what titanium. You know, we all have a end point in our lives, but it's important to just explore and venture, and now I feel like I'm unstoppable.
And I love that coming from a woman.
Mhm.
There's a lot of women that I've spoke to about traveling and solo traveling, and the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, "Oh, I I'm a female. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. And I get it, like, but I feel like if you can live in America and go to work and go to the store and go to the grocery store, you can do all these things on your own. Then you can also, you know, book a flight. Another side of that is, well, it's not the same. You have someone who says that. But then going back to what you were saying about being prepared, being vigilant, I feel like you got to practice those same things today, as an adult, especially if you live by yourself. These practices that you got to start taking on now. And whenever you can do that here, you can go anywhere and do that. But it's really just based off your mindset, though.
Yes, all of that mindset and going out, meeting different people, meeting other women solo travelers while I'm on my own adventures too. And you're just like, man, they're so badass. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm doing it too. Man, there's a whole world out there with these badass women solo traveling, and it fuels me. Like, it gives me this fire, and I'm like, you know what? Again, being mindful of things, not being stupid, being prepared, not just trusting anyone either. I know that's something for me where I like to talk to people too, but also setting my boundaries on, like, all right, I'm not going to share all of my information, all of this, just being a little bit cautious before I fully like let you in. Especially after seeing Taken. Have you seen that movie? Yeah, just not doing the stupid stuff. Like, how are you gonna just tell someone where you live, having them drop you off and all of this XYZ? Not being stupid about it, but just it's so empowering. Once you do it, you never want to stop.
See, the whole purpose of this channel is to encourage inspiring solo travelers and also um, giving travelers a platform to be able to tell their story so they can help someone else out. Um, and if you ain't really soaking up the game and learning from other people's mistakes, then traveling might not be something that you need to be doing. Even group travel, even when you traveling, you still gotta bring that same energy.
Yep.
Um, what is your craziest travel story? It don't matter how crazy it is. This this
Yeah.
is this is this is wrong.
I wouldn't say like just crazy. I think the 3 a.m. Morning hike was a little much. I worried a lot of people. My mom. I don't like worrying her if I don't need to. So that was a little crazy in itself. But personally, for me, the
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like TMI or something, but you know what? People go camping and stuff, and this is recent, and it's not that it's really crazy. Again, I've slept in my car, I've slept on a roof, I've left alone 3 a.m. hiking by myself. But for me, what was crazy and humbling was kind of embarrassing with sure, but using the restroom outside and there, that for me was crazy. I have never, and it's just I'm very like hygiene oriented and stuff, and just using the restroom outside in the wild, pitch black, and I'm like something is gonna bite me, and just trying to do this quick. I'm like, how do people do that? And I know people are like drunk and they do it on the street all the time, but me, Jennifer Medrano, have never, and that was very humbling. So
Yo,
out of
don't join the
everything crazy,
military. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Don't field exercises, yo. Hey, honestly, I'd rather do that than having to use a porta potty.
really? I can use a porta potty.
I had to use a porta potty 45 days. And we talking about sharing this. We talking about sharing like a porta potty, like six of them for like 45 days amongst like 300, 400 people.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
So so what so trust me, what your experience was, man, look, that's
Nothing,
hey,
right?
honestly it's a skill. Um
But
and like,
to my other female travelers, always travel with wipes. Wipes are the key. Always have them in your bag at all times. That is my tip and trick. Bring some wipies.
yo, and this is just a tip. I have a like a toiletry bag,
Uh-huh.
like like a big one.
Yeah, yeah.
And I keep that in there. I keep
I
it never gets used
You
unless
never know.
I'm leaving. Yeah, like you gotta have those necessities when you
Yeah,
travel. You know what I'm
yeah, you
saying?
never
Like
know.
you
And you
never
know
know.
what? I'm just My friends can tell you this. They say I'm a crackhead sometimes. And so crazy for me, I think it's just what is crazy to you? It might not be like I don't know. I've done some pretty like I've met people, I've danced on tables, bars. I've There was one night I got like friends and stuff. We got everything for free just meeting random people like I could I've performed, I've sang in front of crowds and but that's normal to me. Like just the takeaway, if you have not taken anything away, is just go out and do whatever you feel like doing. It doesn't matter who you're with, you can do it by yourself. That's the takeaway. That's my biggest takeaway to all of these solo travelers, male or female, but especially to my females. Just do it.
One more thing, and this is important based off everything you just said. You drink, okay, when you go solo traveling, or just period, how do you carry yourself when it comes to consuming alcohol?
That's a
Because
great
that's
question.
an important one. Yeah.
hmm hmm Um, Again, being mindful of your surroundings, your environment, safety. I will never, even if in a group with people I don't really know. Oh, it's the same way. I can have one drink. I know my own limits. I know I'm a lightweight. I'll only have one drink. Like when I was in Mexico City and when I was in Oaxaca, I did drink. I did hit up like a little bar and stuff like that. But I will only have one drink. It'll be mine. I will be there. I will watch it being poured. I will not leave it alone, and that's it. If I'm engaging in conversation, sometimes I casually cover the cup too, and that's it.
And you make this a habit.
Mhm. It's a habit. I will do it and it'll just be casual. You won't even notice, and that's it. I know my limit. I won't have more than one, especially if I'm by myself. I think that's so, so important. Slip something in the drink real quick. You turn around. You gotta protect yourself too.
Yo, we like you here on
Yep.
this channel. We might have to run
Thank
this
you.
back. You say you about to go to Europe?
Spain. Yeah, I'm going to Spain in October, so I can tell you about that. The goal is to stay in a hostel for the first time. I've never been
Yo,
in
you
a
might have to spin the block on this channel. We could do a part two. You
part
know,
two.
I think you're gonna be featured on here maybe quite a bit because we're gonna get that network in too. I know you just right down the road. What you say you in Austin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't gonna be seeing me out no more. I can tell you that.
Oh
But no. Still the plug.
Still the
Still the
plug.
plug. Still the plug. I'm just
But
not gonna be in the mix.
maybe can't mention your name at that place. Okay, still the plug there. Man, that was my
Yeah,
first time. My first and only time.
hmm yeah. I can still show love. You know, make a phone call.
Yeah, be like, hey.
So where can we find you? How can we support you and follow you on your journey?
I'm really I'm active on Instagram. I'll post random things and randomly on my stories, or it's just any other platforms. I keep it very like minimal. Supporting me, just pray for me. Keep me in your thoughts, energies, good energies my way. That's it. Like Instagram is kind of like my personal diary. I'm not like actively accepting strangers. If I don't know you, I'm not going to accept you. Everyone on my Instagram, all of my following is people who I actually know or have met or have interacted at some point in my journey of life. I'm not like these influencers. Just, you know,
And
my friends are like, you can make TikTok. You should have done this a long time. I'm just too lazy to make all of these little things, to be honest. I'm just soaking in life. But yeah, my way, send my way, positive prayers, thoughts, energies, safety, think good thoughts, good vibes, kindness to the world. Ooh, that's my thing. Spreading kindness. Be kind to everyone.
either way, this has been helpful to a lot of people. Um, Everything you said is things that I say, and it goes over women's head. They don't listen to me. They might listen to another woman telling them, yeah, like enjoy life, but at the same time, like, this world ain't friendly.
Mhm.
And we gotta be able to, maneuver through a world full of vultures,
And
especially
as
being a
much as you
woman.
wanna, trust people, and I like to think the best out of everyone, but you're right. There's some dark people out there, and taking care of yourself first, most importantly.
Hey, Jennifer, we sure do appreciate it. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If this video has been helpful, please share. Please follow Jennifer. Well, no, don't do that because she ain't gonna accept you.
I'm not gonna accept you. Sorry.
She ain't gonna accept you. But still share this video because it can help somebody out, especially you solo traveling women. So
Mm.
show love. Appreciate you, Jennifer.